they were doing it out of goodness of their heart.
Not at all.
So, Judy?
I mean, it was goodness, but it was contractual agreement for sure.
Yes, it was.
You know
And
who's a
thank you
good
to
one
everyone
to
who donated
explain?
to make that good. So that was
Yes.
great. Thank
Copyright
you.
laws.
I'm gonna
Paula.
put it,
Exactly. They're copyright laws, and they're also laws of the performers that are governed by they're unionized.
Yeah.
So they might
Wait,
have to-
Margie and I aren't unionized and we performed.
and
Hey, and you didn't get paid. You didn't get
Didn't
paid.
get
I'm
paid.
telling you, Debbie, we're going on the road.
Debbie,
We're going on the road, you and I?
You.
Okay,
Debbie, they
Margie,
couldn't afford you. You already told them that.
I did.
You and Debbie are going on the road. I've got your roadies right here because I'm a union member.
her little van
Debbie
with
has a
her
van.
tie-dye clothes.
She has her hippie van.
Can I tell you something? Whoops. God's calling. I am the straightest person in the world. I don't know about any of that stuff. I made it all up. I made it all up.
The hash brownies came really out of your mouth very quickly. I don't know, but
Yes, it did.
I was surprised. I must
Edna,
say.
Edna asked me somebody asked me this morning, I think, it was Susie Markowitz. She said, I just want to know your hash brownie recipe. Is it going in the new Women's League cookbook? And I said, I have no idea. So get in touch with Paula Scheuer.
You know that you're on Facebook Live now, Debbie.
That's okay. I'm saying I don't do that kind of thing, so it's
You meant to
fine.
say hash brown potatoes. That's what
Everybody
you
who
mean.
knows me is assured that that was totally made up, Roberta.
Yeah. Straight as an arrow, an arrow.
you did
Great
No, and we're
arrow.
not getting any movement at all from you. There's no.
So you don't make brownies?
No, I'm gluten free. Marion, I'm gluten free.
Oh,
So that's it.
well, you can make gluten-free brownies. Yeah.
I don't even eat
Arthur
that stuff.
Flour has the best gluten-free brownie mix. You'll never make them from scratch again.
Who would
I
ever
agree.
make?
I'm not gluten-free and I only make gluten-free brownies.
Yeah, I don't even eat that stuff. So.
I put a post up to see, just for those of you that asked the question yesterday.
Thank you. You put a what?
They asked when you
Question
you
from
should
yesterday.
use your Women's League calendar.
I understand, but it's a different product. It's a different.
Maybe we should do a cookbook.
The USCJ is when you hang on the wall in your kitchen or
Yeah.
whatever.
And the pictures end up in your sukkah eventually when you laminate.
Exactly, because they're nice. They're the great cardboard.
Yeah.
There's a value to that thing.
Yeah, you.
So last night was great.
You
It
cut the
was
pictures
so
out, hang them in
funny.
your sukkah. That's what they're good for. You
That's
know,
right.
You-
What
every
Margie
year you
just
cut the
said.
pictures out, you hang them in your sukkah, you have something to do.
That's what Margie just said.
I'm telling you, we need to go on the road.
Cincinnati or bus.
When I had a sukkah.
You know what, Margie? They can't afford either one of us. Although you don't eat much, you eat salmon burgers.
She's the cheap date.
Yeah, and no liquor.
You just need a,
I don't even drink soda. Nothing. Coffee and water. Very cheap date.
so you just need a very little carry.
Carry on.
We're not discussing the ice cream and the cookies and the other garbage, but the regular food I don't like.
So Debbie, how did it go last night? I had a synagogue board meeting.
Well, we had fun. We had fun.
I think it shut off.
You know, Margie and I shared a piece of ourselves that I'm not sure everybody knew about me. I think they did know about Margie, but Margie, the funniest line was when you kept saying to him, "Don't tell anybody." Just don't tell anybody. You know, and there were 120 people. You're like, "Don't tell anybody." It was fun. We had a good time at our own.
We had better punchlines than they did. I'll be kind.
Yeah, we did.
We'll keep it among ourselves, Margie.
Yeah.
So is
So
it recorded? Is it recorded?
No.
no, we just said we couldn't record it because of contractual agreements, Marlene. But we can give you a rundown. If you call me like Sunday, I'll tell you about it. So
Okay. That'll work.
it It is 12 o'clock and I would like to get started, and I would like to say thank you so much to everyone that donated and was with us last night. We had a blast. We had a good time at Margie's expense and my expense, and please know that that's really not me. That's my disclaimer today. So I want to thank Mina, Edna, and Paula, Pam Schlossberg, and Rebecca, and for the work that they did to make it happen.
Welcome.
And so it's Thursday, and we're getting ready for Shabbat and the weekend. And I know it's still raining here. It feels like it's raining forever, like 40 days of rain. I hope everyone is covered. I understand that there was a lot of flooding and a lot of tree damage and loss of electricity and power. And I know there are people here in my region that still don't have power. So I hope everybody just gets through. We're going to mute everybody and we're going to start. And Rabbi is anxious to teach today because
Oh, sorry, Debbie, you're muted.
it's all right.
Okay.
I know the rabbi needs a little bit of prayer and some serenity to get through the day. It's been already a tough day for Rabbi. So let's get started.
Sure. And I'll tell you that Tony Lentino, who is the head of Laugh Out Loud, and I were getting to know each other frequently. Over the past couple of days, we were texting each other and emailing and etc. So those who know me really well know that I have quite a sense of humor. As I told him that all rabbis want to be a comedian, he said, sure, just look at Bob Alper and Jackie Mason. So I gave him a little bit and he was very respectful. He didn't use the line that I was, Emma's truth, this is the truth, that I was telling my children on a walk, that I spend my day in my room doing Zoom, I'm on Noom, and watch the whole world go boom, boom. And with that, it was right after the rain. There were sticks on the ground. My daughter's here, she can prove it. I tripped on the sticks, I fell on the ground. I was like, and I went boom too. So, but I can say that makeup does really well. I don't think I look that bad. But I need some prayer and we need some joy. And our psalm today is one of the most beautiful ones. If I remember correctly, I think Toby's gonna be singing some of the melodies for us. Is that right, Toby? Where'd you go on my screen? And Cameron's here in case we know another psalm, another melody for it, and others too. So we're not only learning, we're singing too, which is what the psalm is all about today. But before we do any of that, I'm going to ask Faye to lead us in the singing the Mishaberach. And I'm losing everyone on here. Oh, right, as my daughter just said, she's right near Nanny. Okay, there she is. Faye, thank you. And I bet Faye will probably know a melody too later on.
Maybe.
Maybe, okay.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Faye Yashikochech, thank you for leading us in singing the Mishaberach today, and may we all be healed. So up to Psalm 98 today in our series of learning about the Psalms for Kabbalat Shabbat. It's 9 verses long. If we say that each of the 6 Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat leading up to Lecha Dodi are for a different day of the week, this is the Wednesday day that you can think about what happened on your Wednesday. So on Shabbat this week, you can all think about Tu B'Av and the wonderful evening we had last night with Laugh Out Loud and how we shared our love with each other. So it's the 4th of the 6 Psalms for Wednesday. The psalmist is talking about God's wonders in the world, that God acts in wondrous ways. When Israel triumphs and celebrates, that's a wonder. The occasion of when there is a wonder, it's an occasion for a new song, and we'll all sing it together. Not only will humans sing it, but the rivers will applaud, the hills will rejoice. Again, it's a song that connects both humanity and nature together. So as we read and study the psalm, I want everyone to think about what are the wonders that you see that God puts into your life. And when you see these wonders in your life, do you credit God for them? So there are two different ways of looking at it. The wonders God puts in your life and just wonders in general. And do you credit God with that? Another wonder to come. So a lot of the Psalms you'll see are related to, in these Psalms leading that we've been doing that lead up to Kabbalat Shabbat, that are in Kabbalat Shabbat, are about Messianic age. So the wonders to come when God will judge the world with righteousness. Will the singing continue? And if it does, that'll be a wondrous wonder. God works in wondrous ways, and we have to think about that always. So it's truly a psalm of joy. It's a jubilant psalm. It envisions this new song, and it begs us to put it to music. And that's why there's so many different melodies for it too. And it's one of the psalms that you'll see that we sing often in congregations, all 9 verses. It's not necessarily a part of Kabbalat Shabbat that you just do the first verses and the last verses. Often the entire part is sung as well. So we're talking about, there's always in almost everything we do in Judaism, a little bit of history. So what's the history that's going to be discussed in this? The revelation of God that there will be in the future, of a revelation of God that rivals the God's revelation at Sinai. Now I read that and I was thinking, how could that possibly be? That was the most magnificent and incredible revelation of all. And I think that one person is not muted. Okay. And when this happens with this incredible revelation, that's going to be even a greater revelation than the one at Sinai, the entire world will acknowledge God and will respond to Israel's triumph. So it's going to be a combination of triumph for both God and for Israel. The world will finally recognize Israel's triumph and God's triumph, and that how when Israel triumphs, it'll be beneficial for all of humanity. And it's truly miraculous. So there's a lead up in the song. First, we sang a song. Then we have a harp's melody, you'll see shortly. Then there's sounds of joys will be accompanied by trumpets and sounds of a horn, of a shofar. So as I discussed this, I realized that it would probably be better to look at the psalm so you know what I'm referring to. Okay, so verse 1. A psalm, sing to the Lord a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. So it's interesting that I translate it because most likely here it said his victory. So I would think that it refers to God's victory, but it's interesting that I would think that it's humanity's victory. But we have the anthropomorphic idea of God having not only a right arm, but a right hand, but an arm as well. Which would you think? An arm has to be connected. The hand has to be connected to the arm, but we don't always have both words. We have both. An emphasis that the whole body is taking place, is helping with this. The Lord has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. All the nations will see. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. So God also realizes that we're being triumphant. And it's interesting, many of us know how the idea of mindfulness is so in right now, that we have to be mindful of everything we do. And where did we get that from? The whole idea that we're created in God's image. So here too, God is already being mindful. We got that back from King David's time. So that's why we're mindful today too. Raise a shout to the Lord, all the earth, break into joyous songs of praise. So we're not only singing in verse 1, we're now shouting, which if you think about it, singing and shouting are two different things. Sing praise to the Lord with the harp a melodious song. So we go from singing to shouting to the harp. Now where did we go to? With trumpets and the blast of the horn, raise a shout before the Lord, the ruler. So again, as I was discussing before, that's why I wanted to, so you could see the text. We're singing, we're shouting, we have the harp, we have the trumpets and the blast of the horn. But what is this horn? If you look at the translation, the Hebrew word is shofar. So the blast of the shofar. So we have a trumpet and a shofar. Now we get nature into it. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants, the sea, the thunder, everything. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously together. All of nature, rivers, mountains. Some of us don't live in places with rivers and mountains, but imagine it. At the presence of the Lord, for God's coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its peoples with equity. So God is coming, the messianic idea. So it begs to wonder, I think, why we have trumpets and shofar. Why do you need both, a trumpet and a shofar? So you can look at this as to when they're both being used. So in a public parade, you might use trumpets. And the horns, the shofar, is not really for humans, it's more for God's presence coming. That the ruler advances out of the chambers of the palace, imagine. And within that, first you hear the harp, then you hear the trumpets, then you hear the shofar. That brings the divinity. So the commentaries say, when do we use the trumpet? Why would you use a trumpet? It calls forth vague spiritual sense. It calls people to come to the aid of others and ask people to come to the aid of other people. So it's from people to people. But what's a shofar? And as we move into Elul very soon, a couple of days, hard to believe that it's going to be Elul and then Rosh Hashanah. The shofar calls people to oneself. It's not to others, but to an internal, summoning people to follow God and to obey God. So the shofar is an internal calling, as we know, as we begin our self-reflection in Elul of Cheshbon HaNefesh. The shofar is calling ourselves, people to ourselves, towards God. So, and what happens when you have the trumpet with the shofar? We're summoned to follow God and live in accordance with God's will. So it's even greater. It combines the two, that we need to follow God and follow God's will. So in a summary type, a trumpet is a call for celebration, but the shofar is a call for self-examination and subordination to the ethical demands of God and our Creator. And I thought it was very interesting that just in our scheme of when we were planning to study this, that we're studying this right before Elul, when we start the self-reflection, when we are in self-examination and sounding the shofar every day during our services. And this is one of the Psalms that discusses that. It's a traditional no, I'm not Sephardic, I don't know how many of you are, but it's one of the additional Psalms that's recited for Shacharit, the morning service, during a Sephardic service on Shabbat. And there's one commentator, Abu Raham, who said that the Psalm corresponds to 7 of the 10 utterances of creation. So similar to the fact that in Genesis, it said, let the waters swim, so too, in this Psalm, you can say, let the sea roar and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. So this is a reference to creation. Verse 6, v'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. With trumpets and the blast of the shofar, raise a shout before the Lord, the ruler. It's one of the verses, one of the 10 verses that's recited in the shofarot part, one of the 3 parts of the Musaf service on Rosh Hashanah. So just in a couple of weeks, in about 6 weeks, we'll be hearing that in our services. Just a few more things before we hear a melody for this, or melodies. It's a shir chadash. Is it a shir chadash, a new song for our time or for the future? So many people say that this is a song for the future. And it describes when God will have redemption of Israel and rejoicing will ensue for all. Our psalm, as we saw, has expressions of both oral song and also instruments of music and song. The Midrash Tanhuma, one of the legends, Midrash is a legend, says that Psalm 98 is the 10th and final song that the Jewish people will sing after the final redemption. So when the final redemption comes, this will be also repeated, and it's going to be a key song that's going to be sung. It's going to be the finale of those psalms. It's one of the royal psalms as well, praising God as our ruler of God's people. and it's well known. And just to one very last thing I'll end with before I ask, I believe it's Toby today who will be leading us in singing some of this, different melodies, that we should not fear the end. So we know that Judgment Day is coming, that God will rule the world justly, but we should not fear that judgment, because we'll be based on righteousness and equity on what we do. And we should remember that that judgment will be uplifting and ultimately will be the cause for this new song of celebration. So this psalm is all about the joy and the triumph and the jubilation that will come to all of us. So it's 9 verses, similar to yesterday. I said that Or Zarua Let Tzadik, that you can think about that. If you, it says that it's supposed to help you sleep. Maybe this psalm we can keep by in our wallet, our bedside, wherever you want, to just bring us joy and happiness. So Toby, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
I got 1, 2.
Okay.
And for those of you who know it, as my Chazan always says when we're doing services, in your little box, shout with joy and sing along. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Hinef Laot Asa, Hoshir Lo Yemino, Uzra Kocho, Hodia Adonai, Yeshuato, Le'ene HaGoyim, Gilutzikato, Zachar Chasto, Ve'umato, Levet Yisrael Ra'u, Kol Asvei Aretz, Et Yeshuot Eloheinu, Ariel Adonai Kol Haaretz, Yitzchu V'Ranenu V'Zameru, Zamru Ladonai, V'Chinor, V'Chinor V'Chol Zimra, V'Chatzrot V'Chol Shofar, Ariel Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayamum Lo, Tevel V'Yoshvei Neharot Yimcha Uchaf, Yachad Harim Yeranenu, Lifnei Adonai Kiva, Lishpot Haaretz, Lishpot Tevel B'Tzedek, Ve'ami B'Meisharim, Yada, da 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 da, Yada da 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 da, Yada da 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 da, Yada da, Yada da 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 da. That's my tune for today.
Yasher Kochech. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was the exact melody that Cameron was thinking of doing too. And I keep my timbal nearby from convention, so we have a little bit. She doesn't really know that I actually get her to come teach so that she could be part of this and learn a little during the day. So Yasha Kochech. Does anybody know any other melodies? And would want to unmute themselves and sing for us?
Right.
Faye. I knew Faye.
Well, I don't know a melody. The melody I know isn't for the whole song.
That's fine.
It starts with Zamru.
Zamru Ladonai B'Chinor, B'Chinor B'Chol Zimra, B'Hatzotzrot B'Chol Shofar, Ariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yiram Hayamim Ho, Tevel V'Yoshvei Neharo Yimcha Uchav, Yachad Harim Yeranenu, Lifnei Adonai Kiva, Lishpot Haaretz, Yishpot Tevel B'Tzedek, Ve'amim B'Meisharim. Yiram Hayamim Lo, Tevel V'Yoshvei Neharo Yimcha Uchav, Yachad Harim
Yasha kochech. Thank you. I like that one. That one I didn't know. I haven't heard. Does anyone know any others? Okay. So I'm glad when everyone wants to sing and join us. And anyone want to, I haven't been reading the chats, so I apologize if there's something related to this. Did Craig Taubman have one too? He may have. I know we're coming up to one with Romamu. I'm thinking of getting a shofar. Actually, who added themselves yesterday? I think Paula told us yesterday. She told me she's the Baltakia. So I'm going to talk to her about that. And there's discussions over the law committee of whether or not you can actually be patur, that you can be exempt and fulfill your obligation of hearing shofar via the computer. I'm not sure how you wouldn't want to, but that you wouldn't be able to. So I'm personally going to say no matter what, that we're going to hopefully have different people blowing shofar during it. So Paula, get ready for your shofar, okay? I know you're out there. And looking through these, okay, didn't look like anything else. So 2 people, do you want to tell us any wondrous examples, God's wonders that you've seen in your life today?
My daughter,
Your daughter, beautiful.
Rena. Her name is Rena, English and Hebrew.
Nice. Debbie.
For me, it's anytime I'm with my grandchildren or thinking about my grandchildren. And I was present at the birth, at the business end of things when my baby granddaughter was born last year. And I don't know how you can not feel God when you're in that type of situation.
Beautiful. And Jamie wrote the Smoky Mountains. And I don't know, I know she told me she was traveling yesterday. I don't know if she's traveling through the Smoky Mountains right now. But really, you are. Okay. See, I had a feeling. And
They're gorgeous.
we need to be conscious of the fact, as God said in our psalm today, that we were Mazel Tov, Renee, on your new grandnephew, that we need to be mindful, like God is mindful, that we have to be mindful of the wonders in our life, even with the little bumps in the road and the lockdown and people being ill, and it's happening all around us, the ups and downs, and what we had on the East Coast is coming out to the West Coast. We really need to be mindful of those wonders in our life, no matter what's going on. So, and I have to say that this wonder is today. I have the wonder of being together with everyone every day and knowing that no matter what, noon is a sacred time to be together with all of our Women's League sisters. At this time, I'm going to ask Sandy to read our list of names for our those who are saying Kaddish today and who people have Yurtzeit for. And Maddie is saying Kaddish, it's the Yurtzeit for Annette Schwartz. So Sandy, all yours.
Please keep in memory Evelyn Seelig, Sue Press, Leona Ellingsberg, First Sergeant Amit Ben Yigal, Jesus Belina, David Kaplan, Louis Hoser, Ivan Stanton, Julie Wynn, Louis Berlin, Hilda Stern, Sylvia Kraus, Hope Dellin, Jack Hanowitz, Lillian Benjamin, Cy Kane, Ava Fields, Mina Esserson, Marty Evans, Richard Murray, Lillian Rappaport, Eden Rich, Edan Ronan Greenstein, Susan Berman Levine, Abraham Ben Hirsch Lieb, Lillian Tobias, Alicia Niemskura, Helen Goldberg, Mark Schwartz, Dr. J. Marlin, Linda Hornig, Rabbi Sigma Faye Corin, Donna Spector, Alan Feldman, Samuel Ben Chaim, Andrew Cortez, Rabbi Ken Roseman, Hannah Rich, Steve Lazarus, Moshe Miller, Stephen Carlin, Dolores Magan, Richard Marek, Doris Kaufman Shaman, Benjamin Zimmerman, Moshe Eliezer, Phyllis Haas, Thornton Soup Saperstein, Dr. Merle Goldman, Ruth Simons, Moshe Shrega HaKohen Ben Bat Yamina, Herb Lubars, Rita Rifkin Libman, Julie Horwich, Georgia Young, Allison Stopel Weaver, Herman Heinitz, Harold I. Abramson, Faye Grossman, Pinkas Ben Avraham, Judy Berger, Madeline Saul, Rabbi Micah Kaplan, Jack Fisher, Russell Bay, Nissan Yisrael Yaakov Arya, Sarah Bat Avraham, Raymond Raskin, Staff Sergeant Ardiel Fischler, Rabbi Jonathan Brown, Raymond Sassoon, Herb Rosenzweig, Nachum Ben Leah, Devorah Bat Albert Miller, Ruth Wolf, Debbie Wilk, Joan Sitfer, Hannah Ben Shimon, Hannah Bat Shimon Ben V. Carline, Helen Rose, Leah Barker, David Adler, Robert Thorpe, Shirley Martin Shush, Robbie Cohn, Ruth Ben Joseph, Margot Grossman, Florence Lotstein, Pinkas Mendel Ben Yaakov Rachel, Sam Shmuel, Rabbi Solomon Heck, Rosamund Adler, Joan Steiner, Michael Silverman, Miriam Lehman, Larry Kamolka, Ellen Babbitt, Stephen Schreiberg, Annette Schwartz, Lance Corporal Guillermo S. Perez, Private Brian J. Baltiera, Lance Corporal Marco A. Barranco, Private Evan A. Bath, U.S. Navy Hospitalman Christopher Gnem, Private Jack Ryan Ostrovsky, Corporal Wesley A. Robb, Lance Corporal Chase D. Sweetwood, and Corporal Cesar A. Villanueva. Are there any others? May their memory be forever.
Thank you, Sandy. And if you weren't able to unmute yourself yet, and you still need to unmute yourself to add a name, you may at this time. Please as well unmute yourself, as we'll be saying the Kaddish together. I'll be leading us, and for all those who died in Beirut. Yes, thank you. And I'll be leading us in the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. Please join me in reciting it at the speed so that we can all say it together as I point to the words. We begin. Yitzgadal,
Yitzkadash, Shemei, Rabba, B'Yama, Yivra, Kirutei, B'Yamli, Malchutei,
B'chayei, Ubiyom Echon, Ub'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala,
Ubizman, Karim, V'Yemru, Amen. Yehi,
Shemei, Rabba, Deborah, Leolam, Maya, Yitzhara, Yishtaba, Yitzhar, Yitzromam, Yitnaseh, Yitzhadar, Yitzhalel, Yitzhal, Shemei, Kudashah, Rihu, Le'ela, Yinhol, Yirchata, Mishirata, Tushechata, Nenechata, Da'amiran, Yalva, Yimru, Amen. Yehi, Shlama, Rabba, Yismaya, B'chayim, Aleinu, V'yal Israel, V'yimru, Amen. Shalom, Shalom, Aleinu, Israel, V'yimru, Amen.
I mean, this is the declaration page, but then I'd like, this is what she.
I'm just going to mute
She doesn't need
everybody.
to see the whole policy, but we need to have it all together.
So you know we can hear We thank everybody for being with us. And Yasher Koach to all who participated today. And very soon, we're going to be sending out the Sign Up Genius, where people will be able to sign up for different parts of the service, to teach a psalm, to lead the Mishaberach singing, to lead reading the name on the Kaddish list. So that'll be sent out. If you have any questions, you can contact us. I want to thank our virtual Tefillah co-chairs, Debbie Lempert and Toby Holtzman, for organizing all of that. In addition, we're trying to figure out a way to decrease the Kaddish list. I have a feeling that there may be names of people on the list that may have been for yurtzites, and we put them on and we don't actually know that they're on for a yurtzite. So we've been saying them. There's also the very personal aspect of those of us who are saying Kaddish for a parent. People say it for, of course, we all disagree. You know, this disagreement, 11 days, 11 years and a day, 11 months, I'm very tired, 11 months and a day, 11 months minus a day. For other relatives, just for a month. Some people say it 11 months and 2 days, Judy? Is that what you were saying to me? Oh, for 12 months, right. So there's, some people say it all the time. As someone told me the other day, sent me a very nice email, and sorry, I don't want to break who it was, and I honestly don't remember exactly, but there are many who say Kaddish all the time, because if you think about it, there are those who have passed who have no one to say Kaddish for them. There are those people from the Holocaust that had no one ever to say Kaddish for them. And we could all say Kaddish all the time, because there's someone out there who has no more relatives alive. There was one year for Yisker, for Yom Kippur, and I handed out a name of somebody for every congregant to say, here's someone for you to say Kaddish for. Even if you're personally not, here's a name of a former congregant, someone who died, someone from the Holocaust, and I prepared it for every congregant in the congregation, so that no one would walk out. So it's a very personal approach to how long you say Kaddish for. But if there are people on the list that we can take off that were a family member that you want to, that was for a month or so, we can take it off. You could just speak to me. The other day I said one of the easiest emails to remember that get to me is info@wlcj.org. And even with my long discussion here, I see that somebody told me one name that we can take off. But we remember all of our loved ones. And it's wonderful to be together in community. So I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. I know tomorrow's Friday, someone else is teaching, and Debbie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Rabbi. So we do have a busy week coming up next week. I love the fact that I get to announce all of these wonderful things that are happening. And, you know, we offer opportunities for engagement and learning. Monday in the afternoon, we have Lois Silverman is continuing her program of women in film. And at night, we're studying with Rabbi Cheryl Peretz for our Siyum for the end of our Mishnah study. All of those links and information are on Women's League Week, which came out Tuesday night. So look for them. And we are going to continue to keep you as busy as possible. That's our joy. And I hope that you feel the same way about being together with us for all kinds of opportunities. So we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody stay safe and stay well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Good day. Bye.
Marge, for you.
Better, Rabbi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Feel better, Rabbi.
Be safe. That wasn't too bad. I fell, but I'm a little bruised, but not as bad as I thought I would be. So I still took a walk yesterday, even after
Bubble
falling.
wrap you.
Yeah, exactly. I could act like Betty Boop and bubble wrap and become a hippie.
We're live on Facebook.
That is true. We are. It's okay.
Oh, let's get